Hi everyone, so for today's story we've got another one of Aesop's fables, so one of the old stories that have got a moral, and I wonder if you can work out what the moral of this story is or whether you've heard it before. This one is called The Hare and the Tortoise. It also links with our theme of perseverance and persistence that we're doing in assembly this week. So, it was a time once again for the annual woodland race. All of the forest animals were very excited about competing in the race and winning the precious trophy. It was a great honour to win such an award, so all kinds of animals had signed up to take part. What sort of animals should take part in a race? Who might win a race out of all the woodland animals? And here is one of the main characters. This is the hare. And you should know what a hare is because we've been talking about Peter Rabbit this year. However, at the starting line of the race, many of the signed up animals changed their mind and decided not to race. And why? Well, it was Hare. He had turned up to run the race, but could not help himself in boasting to everyone else that he was the best at everything and that he was going to win. So, what might he be saying? And how might he be saying it if you're boasting? Here's a picture of the fox and the hare, and the tortoise having a little snack in the grass. Tortoise, however, stood firm on the starting line and waited to start the race, ignoring Hare. So all the other animals have been intimidated by Hare, but Tortoise is staying there. He wants to race. Huh, grunted Hare. I could beat you in my sleep. You're so slow, you could never win anything. But Tortoise remained still and ready. So here they both are on the starting line, ready to go. Who do you think should win in a race between a tortoise and a hare? The whistle blew and the two contestants set off. Hare went tearing ahead, leaving Tortoise moving very slow and carefully through a big cloud of dust. So that shows you how fast Hare was moving, that all the dust had kicked up behind him. And it went tearing ahead, basically means he went as fast as he could. Hare had only been running for 5 minutes when he stopped and looked behind him. Tortoise was nowhere to be seen. I can have a rest while I'm waiting for that lump to catch up with me, he huffed and lay under a shady tree. So he's decided to have a rest while the tortoise catches up. And there he is looking behind him. Hare dozed off in the cool of the trees and was in a deep, deep sleep when Tortoise came dawdling by slowly as can be. How would you dawdle? How might you move if you're dawdling? He looked at the dreaming Hare and gave a quiet little chuckle. Such a boaster, he whispered to himself and kept wandering on by. So here's Hare by the trees having a little snooze, and the tortoise is coming up behind him. Hare's dreaming of winning that trophy, and Tortoise is keeping going and catching up slowly. Some time later, Hare awoke. It was dusk. He had to hurry. He was still sure that Tortoise would be nowhere near the finishing line. He dusted himself down and set off at a sprint. What did he see as he neared the finish line? So what do you think he saw as he was approaching the finishing line? Now bear in mind, he's been asleep for most of the day while Tortoise has carried on. And what do you think's happened in this picture? What can you see? What's Tortoise doing? How's Hare feeling? And how is everybody else feeling? You can see Fox with a big grin on his face. So Tortoise was just setting foot over that winning line, and the other animals were cheering wildly as he slowly reached the trophy. So Hare had been overconfident and thought he was going to win, and he didn't really have to try. And then Tortoise kept going, and he was persistent, and he kept going and kept going. And because Hare had decided to have a break and a rest, the Tortoise had won the race, and now the Hare looked rather silly. And what do you think the moral of the story is? You might have heard this before, but the moral of the story is slow and steady wins the race. And that's today's story. and we will see you tomorrow for some more stories.